I used to do pottery, and as I did it, I would listen to all these different conspiracy theories on YouTube. And it was always pretty interesting because some of them were really far out there. And they got to be pretty comical because more often than not, they would say like, oh, Nibiru is going to hit the planet and we're all going to die on September 3rd. Well, not really September 3rd, but they would pick a date. And the date would go by, and then they'd pick another date, and the date would go by. Anyway, this would go on for, each year, right around the fall, summer. They'd have different dates that would come and go. And so it's all just, it added to the idea that conspiracy theories are garbage. So, but there were a couple, I went down the rabbit hole of flat earth and just on and on. But a couple of years ago, obviously, things got a little more realistic in terms of conspiracies. And the whole system that we have around us that I thought was broken, I realized is there by design, and it's not for us at all. And I began to also realize that we as sovereign beings on a planet are basically at a crossroads, and we have an obligation to ourselves and to our fellow human beings to basically stand up against the whole corruption that you see all around us. And you think, in other countries, they've got, authoritarian regimes, not realizing that we've been toppling other countries' governments for a long time now on a regular basis with our own military. And although it seems like that shouldn't be the case, and although I've always thought that, there was a chance of there being some way to live within and yet be true to, the planet and the rest of humanity itself, knowing that although there might be bad players, the beginning, the republic, what America stands for, seemed good and solid. And then the more I looked into it, I realized it had been hijacked a long time ago, that it became a corporation. And we are just parts of that corporation. We're basically collateral for the monetary debt system that we've got. And when I realized that, I went, wow, this is not good. We can live in a country that was originally based on freedom, but we're not. And so it's, how do we get back there? Realizing that it's not just one thing that needs to be done. And I look at natural law, and you can look into that a bit, but it really informs a lot of what I think might be more truth-oriented, meaning that we're, people on a planet, and we're free by design. And all the systems and all the things that are in place aren't there to do anything but enslave us, keep us enslaved, and keep us working, towards the system, keeping the system going, and really, it's all control-based. Now, obviously, obviously at this point, most of you has probably stopped watching, but the few that are left watching this, ask yourself, what would it be like if you were just a sovereign being on a planet that didn't have governments, that didn't have people in these different places? And when someone says, where are you from? You can solidly say the planet Earth and not be, flippant about any of it, because we're not by design part of any sort of country. We may have grew up in a different culture here and there, but in the end, we're all on this planet together. What most people don't realize, I think, is that the people way in control of everything don't see it that way at all. They see us as tools for their own disposal, literally disposal. And so it's recognizing that and going, okay, well, yes, there are conspiracies out there. Well, yes, there could be a bunch of things that are not true. There are enough conspiracies that are shown to be true, especially in the last couple of years, that I'm hoping it freaks you out enough to actually think that you could do something about it. So just putting that in your ear, that in fact, if you look around, there are a lot more people thinking the same thing. And if we gather together, and the more of us that gather together, basically, I think the more possibility we have to actually have true freedom, not the faux freedom or the liberty and justice for all that we think we've built everything upon. So, hoping you're doing well as a human being on this planet. And I've got some more videos. I'm going to be traveling about a bit. I'm in the Mount Hood National Forest right now. Be traveling about a bit and sharing some different ideas on community, on where we can go next as human beings on a planet and not part of a system that we've been indentured in slavery to. And so I hope you join me on this and we actually get somewhere. We actually make it this time. Supposedly we're on the 5th version of humanity. If you look back, you can see the destruction of former versions of different former versions of whatever came before. And this one may actually make it. I hope so. I'd like to be a part of that, or at least a little tiny seed, a little tiny kernel within everybody else that's alive at this time that makes it grow into something just fantastical so that we can actually live with abundance and not the scarcity and debt slavery that we've got. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon because I'm going to be doing video after video, and I hope you enjoy. And let me know any comments you have down below.